This is Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Cindy Dove. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gigi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Likewise, it's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you and where are you from?
Okay, well, my husband Wes and I live in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. I've lived in Virginia all my life. Wes has lived right here in the Shenandoah Valley all of his life, and we just absolutely love it here. We travel a little bit with some of the training and things that we do, but being right here is a great place for our family.
Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us a little bit more about Dove Development and Consulting that you and Wes founded.
Oh, I would love to. And again, I appreciate you having us on. So, Wes and I founded our organization in 2015. So, I guess we're coming up on about 8 years. And what we founded was a leadership development organization because as we were coming up through our corporate careers, we identified areas that, hey, we have a gap here and we need growth. But the organizations that we work with, they were great organizations, but they didn't necessarily offer the skills that we needed. So we had to go outside of our companies and find the growth. And it cost a lot of money. We went to conferences and trainings and spent a lot of time and resources to find those gaps and get ourselves educated in the areas that we needed. But when we applied that, what we were learning, then we grew and we got excited and we could see the difference it made for our organization. And we shared it with our coworkers and friends, and it made a difference for them too.
Absolutely amazing. Now, you and I are both JMT DNA, and if you're listening to this message today and you're JMT DNA, we do appreciate you for listening in. And now, tell us a little bit more about your experience being a part of the Maxwell Leadership Team.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Well, I tell you, we chose that because John Maxwell is who we found when we stepped out around 2001. We were in our corporate careers and we stepped out to find, who can teach and train us on leadership. And we were introduced to John's books, and we were introduced to some places that John was speaking, and then some conferences that he was doing. So again, it was a lot of time and resources that we put into that, but we did what we could and applied it. So that's why we chose John. And when we realized that he was founding the John Maxwell team, we got really excited. That has been, gosh, a little over a decade ago. And we didn't get involved right away. We needed to have a little bit of time and resources then to take a better look at that. Wes first came down, to Florida where they were being certified, and he became a John Maxwell certified team member. He came back and had gained so much from that he wanted me to come back to the next event with him. So I did, and we've both been certified since, I guess, about 2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us
Mhm.
a little bit more about some of the soft skills that you teach leaders.
So we like to fill the gaps again that we experienced ourselves. And one that we have actually collaboratively authored a book on is really based around helping teams discover their potential. And it's soft skills around effective communication. And what comes into play there is not just effective communication, but accountability and responsibility, all those foundational skills of leadership that individuals they have in a way, or they may have them, but we find that companies usually hire good people, right? And they generally do a good job, and the folks who do the best jobs often are like transitioned, or they're offered leadership positions into a management or supervisor role, but they've been great at that technical piece that they're doing, and then they get this promotion, but now they have this responsibility for leading and building people. So they've been taken away from what they're really good at with that technical skill, and now they're not doing that as often, if at all, but they're helping other people be successful at that, and they need that soft skills training in between there to help them lead people successfully.
That's right. Soft skills are very important. Now, tell us a little bit more about the challenges that you had to overcome.
Goodness. So, are you talking about with when we were in our corporate careers and we're looking for, growth gaps, and how are we going to lead people?
Yes, ma'am, both in your personal life and in business.
Okay. Well, gosh, the first thing that comes to mind is in business. And Wes and I both were blessed I think we were one of those individuals that were doing our best. We were doing a good job, the best that we could. And we got promotions and we recognized that, hey, my speaking skills, to lead out in staff meetings and lead out in some of the corporate meetings, that we need better skills. So we would go out and find those, and John is the best communicator that I know of, and he is the person that I learned from first and foremost.
Very powerful. Now, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Wow, walking with purpose and living a life of happiness. I think for me, I would have to say that I had to learn to get past myself, to get over myself, not to make sure that it's not about me. When I first heard the term, it was actually John from Stage talking about, if we're not getting outside of our comfort zone, then it was selfish. If we're not getting outside of our comfort zone as a leader and to grow and help people. And I thought, oh my goodness, I was really comfortable in my comfort zone and that was working kind of, but I knew where, the places that I needed to grow. I knew the areas that I needed to grow in, at least at that point. When we grow, then there's more areas that we recognize we need to grow in. But finding that I need to get out of my comfort zone, and that it was all about me if I wasn't getting out of my comfort zone to grow and lead people.
That's right. Get out of your comfort zone. Very important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you and I spoke recently, you and I spoke about how you're continuing to build your relationship with God. And I want to discuss that for a moment because I thought it was so powerful. And I appreciate you for sharing that. So what would you say to someone who is looking to build a relationship with him, or who has faced a challenge and now they've steered away from him and don't know how to go back?
I would say listen to that still small voice, because most of the time I've found, not only for myself, but other individuals that I've talked with, that if they stop to listen for that, there's really no denying that it's there. If we're truly thinking, I know I'm away from God, I know I need to be closer, that's the Holy Spirit speaking to us. So I had to realize that God was talking to me, and it was still this inner struggle. I knew I needed to get back to church and get back to Bible study, and not that church had to be in the picture for me. That's just where I'm at. Although I do go to church and I enjoy it, but at that point in my life, even just a Bible study, was a step closer, and the Holy Spirit spoke to me more.
I love it. Now, do you have any last words for the audience?
When it comes to leadership, I guess take a look at where you are now and where you want to go. And when you're identifying where you're at right now, and then you look at it out at where you want to go, what are those steps that you need to take to get there? And first identify, there's going to be steps that you absolutely know, hey, I need to grow in this area. I need to take a step in this direction. And this is what I can do that I know of right now to accomplish that. And go ahead and take action on that. And then look around you for mentorship. Who can be your mentor? Who is doing, having success in the area that you want to get to, that would have your best interest at heart, that could help you grow in that area.
I love it. Ladies, listening into this message today, write that down. Take a look at where you are at now and where you want to go. Very powerful. Now, Cindy, where can the audience find you?
So we are at www.dove-development.net. And that is Dove like the bird. Dove-development.net.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Cindy on all of her social media platforms and also on her website. You can see it there. That's dov-development.net. And Cindy, thank you again for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast.
Thank you for having me, Gigi.
You're welcome. God bless.
Thank you.